Hey everyone, welcome. This is Jim Sullivan with the American Printing House for the Blind. We're going to go ahead and get started here in a moment. We are trying to get some things in order with captioning. And as we are doing that, I will go ahead and launch the poll for today, or our opening poll. There are 5 questions that are in that poll. And along with the usuals, we'd like for you to let us know when you start back to school. So are you starting back to school in August, September, or does this question not apply to you? And there's a smiley face on the screen. And then how would you rate your knowledge of Mac Connect, beginner, intermediate, advanced, or Jedi? So if you would go ahead and ponder those questions, we will keep those open as I continue to kind of look for our captioner, who does not appear to be in the general attendees either. Just Roger, Justine, you don't see the captioner in there, correct?
Hold on a second. I don't see a participant named captioner.
Okay.
Mary Marato. I cannot rename myself. It's Mary Marato.
That's the caption.
I believe so, but she can't rename herself.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay, so did she drop out? There we go. Okay, so we are going to promote her to a panelist. All right, captioner, we're getting you there. So you should be able to accept getting promoted to a panelist. And then we can double check to see if we can provide you with the option to do the captioning that way. Here you come. And change role to attendee, rename, speak. Yeah, this is funny. I can assign the captioning to everybody else, but for some reason, I cannot assign the captioning to you, which just boggles my mind. But we're going to move forward. I have turned on live captioning, and I believe Mary, if I'm not mistaken, you had indicated that you could provide a link for captioning. Is that correct?
Yes, she responded yes.
Perfect. Okay. So we've got people coming in. We have 95% participation rate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to share the results. We will review those results here quickly, and then we'll come back to captioning. So our first question is where are you from? And it looks like the majority of you, over 40%, are from the Midwest. So, all right, Midwest. How did you hear about the webinar? Of course, the majority of you heard about it through email, but a number of you also found us on the website. So thanks for sharing that information. What's your title? The vast majority of you are teachers of the visually impaired. There are some O&M instructors, some AT specialists, and some Braille transcribers out there. So thank you for joining us. And then what is your comfort level with the Mac Connect? Most of you are beginner. There are a couple of intermediate, a couple of advanced users, no Jedis, and then last but not least, when do you head back to school? 70% of you are going back in August, 5% in September, and 25% the question does not apply to you. So thank you so much for sharing. One more bit of business before I turn my attention here back to the captioning. The ground rules as we get started. This is a partner showcase. We are going to be spending some time with the Matt Connect version 2.1. And in a moment, I'll introduce our guests. But there will be no ACVRP credit for this particular webinar. And we ask that throughout the course of the hour that you share your questions with us in the chat. Roger and Justine love to get questions, so I will monitor those questions and forward along, and we'll do a couple of questions throughout the course of this presentation where we'll be able to pause and take a look at those questions. And closed captioning is available. I'm going to share a link in the chat, and I'm going to do that now. Mary, you should have been able to maybe share that with everybody, but just in case, I'm going to send this to everyone. And I did enable live captioning. If you are out there and you are struggling with captioning, if you could let us know that, that would be great. And everybody should be able to communicate. And we do see that Kelly started school in July. That almost seems like that should be against the rules. Unless you go year round. I guess I needed to ask the question, does anybody go year round? No, Mary is asking me a question. Yep, we're all good. I dropped that into the general. Does anybody go to school year round? Maybe drop that in the chat. All right. So with that, I'm continuing to move along. So with us is Roger Gator Steinberg, who's coming to us live from South Carolina. Roger is the low vision product manager for HumanWare, and he is the resident expert on anything and everything that is Florida Gator football and basketball. Is that correct?
Potentially.
Potentially. Okay. Also joining us from Louisville is Justine Taylor, who is with the American Printing House for the Blind. She is also our low vision product manager. Thank you for joining us, Justine. As far as our agenda goes today, we should be with you probably for about the next 35 to 45 minutes. We can be with you up to the next 60, but we will not go beyond the 1 o'clock hour. We will be diving into the Matt Connect 2.1 update. We will be looking at the Prodigy 4.8 software update, and then we will be spending time demonstrating dictionary function and some additional software features that you will find in version 2.1 of Matt Connect. We will wrap up. And again, as I turn this over to Justine and to Roger, I will again encourage you to drop questions in the chat. And Nora is telling us that she goes year round. So I'm not sure whether to congratulate you and say that's great or offer my condolences there, Nora. My nieces went to school year round, and I know my sister struggled with making all of that happen. So all information that you do not need to know and probably don't care about. So with that, I'm going to stop talking and ask Justine to pick it up from here.
All right, thank you. I'm very excited to be here to share the information about the Matt Connect version 2.1. This new upgrade launched back in April. So we did a webinar in May to go over all of these updated features and the new tablet and everything. So if you want to revisit that webinar, you can go to the archived webinars and find that the Matt Connect version 2.1 webinar we did back in May. So I'm just going to kind of recap and go over some of those new things as you're going back to school and you are working with your Matt Connects and just kind of going over these new features, and then I'll pass it to Roger to go over the new version 4.8 update. So the Matt Connect version 2.1, this includes some The biggest change is it has the Android 12. It's an upgraded to an Android 12 tablet, which is capable of running the latest Android apps. It has a quicker startup time, increased battery life, improved Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity, and has USB-C charging. So those are some of the new features that we have with the new version of the Matt Connect. And then if we move to the next slide, this is just going to be going over a review of what's new. So improvements that have been made to the operating system include some enhancements with the accessibility features. So now there's our dark theme that you can access in your Android accessibility settings. You can access more apps and set up the tablets with your Google account and install Prodigy. So with the new tablet, the Prodigy software is no longer pre-installed. You will need to install Prodigy. And we have a tutorial video that shows you how to set up your tablet. Again, I think we could probably drop this link in the chat to the video, or you can find it on the aph.org, our website, on the Matt Connect version 2.1 product page. We have all of the tutorial videos listed. The links are there to watch those videos. There were some price changes and the tablet only options. So now you can buy just the tablets and you can upgrade. You can go ahead and, upgrade your current Matt Connect with the new Android 12 tablet. And then my next slide. This is going over the APH toolbox. So the APH, all the APH Android apps are now available in the toolbox, and these are all pre-installed and added there for you. If you just go in the carousel and you click on the APH logo, that's the APH toolbox, and you'll have all of these APH Android apps listed out. We have Flip Over Faces, Braille Buzz, Code Jumper, Math Flash, Practice to Master Abacus, and SALS. These are all of our apps that are now capable of working with the Matt Connect, and they're all listed there for you, as well as all the Google Suite apps and any apps that you might download from the Play Store. Those are all going to be able to be quickly accessed from your APH toolbox, so you don't necessarily have to leave the Prodigy software and go to the tablet, the Android tablet, to find these apps. You can access them all directly from that list, and you can organize them, add or remove whatever apps you want in there. So
Justine, a question came in
yes.
from someone. They're asking, and those are your apps that APH has developed. They want to know if they could add those to a Connect 12 if they have a Connect 12. So can they go download each of these apps from the Play Store and install them on a Connect 12 if they want?
Yeah, they're Android apps. Yep. We just, on the Matt Connect, they're just automatically going to be there for you. But yeah, if you have a Connect 12, you could go ahead and install any of those apps. Yep.
Right. They show up in the APH toolbox. They're not going to add to your
Yes.
carousel because it would make your carousel very wide or a lot of apps to scroll through. So they install into the toolbox itself.
Yes. And then I think we have a poll question next.
Yep, we do. So I'll go ahead and launch that. So this is just a summary of what's up with the version 2.1 update. So this should be, you should have the opportunity to be able to do multiple selections. So select the new features and functions you will find in the Mac Connect. So does it include increased battery life? Does it include the Android 12 operating system? Does it include improved Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity? Does it include a 1-year DirecTV subscription? And then finally, does it include USB-C charging? So which of the following is included in the update? So that is out there, and we've got to this particular point in time about 50% participation. Before I end the poll, are there any other questions that are in the chat? Or Roger, before we kick this to you to start talking about the dictionary, is there anything else that you want to add to the information about the 2.1 update?
So I think one thing that I would say is we're going to be saying update a lot and different version numbers today. So don't let it throw you in regards to that. Anybody that's purchasing a Mac Connect now will get a 2.1 tablet. If you owned a tablet or a Mac Connect prior to April, then you would want to inquire with APH about upgrading your tablet to the 2.1 tablet. As Justine noted, that Android 12 update is significant. It sort of lays the groundwork, and these other updates that were in that for what we're going to show today in terms of the Prodigy software update, which is what I'm going to demonstrate for you. And if I'll be spotlighted in a minute, but it's showing in my camera right now. That's our software that runs on the Mac Connect. So we've updated the software. So again, that tablet update allows us to do the things that we're doing now moving forward. And the updates that I will show on the software today are available only for those that own those newer tablets that came available in April, as Justine mentioned.
All right, so I've entered our question. And so again, the question, just to repeat, was what new features or select the new features and functions you'll find in the Mac Connect version 2.1 hardware. So increased battery life is one of them. The Android 12 operating system is one of them. Improved Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity is one. A 1-year DirecTV subscription is not a new feature of the Mac Connect, and USB-C charging is one. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing. I'm going to advance the slide and turn the presentation over to Roger.
All right, thanks, Sully. I'm going to go ahead and cover this, and we'll only spend a short time in PowerPoint here. But the main thrust of today's webinar is to share what's going to be new with our Prodigy 4.8 software update on those new tablets. So the major new feature that we're adding that we're very excited about, because it will have huge impacts on education for student users and growing their vocabulary and deepening their comprehension of reading material, is the addition of a dictionary tool in Prodigy. This tool was developed in partnership with Accessibyte, who develops accessible applications. And we chose to have it powered by Oxford Languages, which come from the Oxford University Press, which most of us have probably heard of before. Oxford University Press, well-renowned dictionary provider. So we can feel confident that we're delivering really good dictionary support for the users of this new tool. Some of the features that will benefit our users are that it not only includes definitions in US English, UK English, French, and Arabic, but where appropriate, we'll also supply synonyms and antonyms to, again, further the understanding of those words that someone may be looking up. There is an interface size adjustment. Again, as a low vision device, we want to be able to do that. Oh, we lost our slide there, Sully.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, so interface size adjustment, so small, medium, large. And as we've been testing, we've already, again, I guess I'll get that and then just give me a minute. We will have a word of the day option, and I'm going to show you all of this in just a few moments. The ability to create word lists based on topical areas, different novels, subject areas, personal word lists, whatever the need may be. There is the ability to look at recently looked up words. So again, quick access to those items, so you don't have to necessarily type things in to look again. A show hide option for the dictionary tool. So if it's taking up too much of the user interface, you can certainly hide it. And then the ability to copy and paste from the dictionary to use definitions or synonyms and antonyms in other applications that you may want to use them with. Before we advance, this is the first iteration of the dictionary tool. As Justine began testing, she came back with some good ideas already for things that we can do to further enhance it immediately. And we know that there are certainly numerous updates that we will be able to make to the dictionary tool. So as you're looking at it, we welcome you to send your feedback to us so we can continue to improve it. Again, it is the first release, and just like any software, there's always room to improve. So, but we are really happy with what we have. So. Let's go ahead and move forward one. And then there are some additional enhancements and fixes that we've applied. So I'll just briefly review each of these to give you an understanding of what they are. First on the list is what we would call perspective correction post capture. And I'm actually going to do a very quick demo of some key Mac Connect features, since most were beginners today. But basically, when you capture text documents to bring in and OCR them and then read them aloud back, the tablet initially was being very precise in that you had to be right at a 90-degree angle or parallel to the surface underneath, or you would get some wonky results with your captures. So we had to adjust the accelerometer, which is the positional tool inside the tablet, so that it would understand, hey, give some latitude here in terms of what you're correcting and so forth, and apply the corrections properly after you capture a document for processing. So fix that. Screen capture matches the live view, or WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get. Through the tablet, when you would look at text underneath, if it was a multi-column document, you might see 5 columns of page that you capture, but then what would be presented back to you on the screen afterwards was 3 of the 5 columns. Now we'll present all 5, so it basically just aligning that so you don't feel like, oh, something went wrong here. The virtual keyboard was not always popping up as it should, specifically and most predominantly when entering passwords, usernames and passwords, and it seemed to affect Bookshare the most, but in other instances it would potentially not come up as it should, so we fixed that to where it comes up all the time now. The ability to copy and paste text to the gallery was not functioning, so we have fixed that. Bluetooth keyboard connectivity is fixed. That one was a minor fix in that a message would pass back when you connected your Bluetooth keyboard saying that you weren't connected when in fact you were. So that now it passes the proper message, you are connected. This is an interesting one that you might have experienced. Lights work after sleep in magnifier mode. So if you put the device into a simple magnifier mode, and we're using it as just a magnification device, for those that have used the device before, underneath the tablet tray, we have lights that come on to help illuminate what is being magnified. And the automatic shutoff for the device by default is 3 minutes. So if you were to walk away for more than 3 minutes, the device would go to sleep to conserve your battery because it's running lights and so forth. And when you would come back and tap the power button to wake it back up, the lights wouldn't come back on. And the reason that this was extremely frustrating is you would have to do a full reboot of your tablet to get the lights to start activating properly again after a sleep cycle. That has been fixed. And then there were a couple of issues around the download and installation of voices. And as Justine mentioned, when you activate a tablet now, you'll have to go through the Android setup wizard first, and then at the end of that, we will go ahead and install all of the Prodigy software as well as the APH toolbox and any voices that you want to use. And there were some instances where folks would download a voice to install, and it would show that it had done so, but then you would go to look and activate it and it wasn't available. So that has been fixed. And as some may know, when we install things, you'll see a spinning wheel that's ticking if you have sound turned on. And there were times where the installation of voices would get stuck and that spinning wheel would remain, and you would have to power cycle the device or put it into a sleep and bring it back to break out of that cycle. So we've fixed both of those. And then, of course, when you go into settings, there is the ability to send feedback to us. That tool was failing when you would try to send feedback, and we have fixed that as well. And as noted, this release is slated to, if all continues on course, go live sometime tomorrow. But we're already busy planning for the next release. So, and again, just like the dictionary tool that I just mentioned, use that feedback tool. Let us know what's going on, because we want to continue to improve and make the device just as good as it can possibly be. So I think that I am spotlighted now. Thank you, Sully. So again, just because we had some beginners on the line, what I wanted to do is just provide a quick orientation to the Matt Connect. So what you have is a tablet device that installs into a stand. And I'm going to quickly there's a screw down here at the bottom. I'll tilt this up. Here at the bottom of the tablet tray that you can put in place that locks it in place. That's really good for use in schools. I keep mine relatively loose so I can demonstrate that the tablet can, without that screw, be removed from the stand. I'm also doing this so that I can demonstrate and show what the stand looks like. So there's a tablet tray that I'm raising and lowering right now. It's just bigger than the 12-inch tablet, but I can push it all the way down into the back of the stand and then pull that forward. And the Matt Connect will fold up into a nice flat device that can be carried. It weighs in at just about 5 pounds. It can be placed into a courier style bag or a backpack to move with a student from one location to the other. And then it just folds back and opens up again. And I'll go ahead and place my tablet back into the stand right now and clip it in. So again, if you insert that screw and tighten it all the way, the tablet cannot be removed for students that might want to take it out and cause damage otherwise to the device. Now, mine has been run through the Android wizard and has Prodigy installed on it, as well as all the tools that we mentioned earlier. And I've set the Prodigy to be my home application on my Matt Connect here. It is, as Justine noted, now an Android 12 device. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in Android today, but I will show you that there is a 4-finger gesture that you can place on the screen that will take you into the Android environment, where you can go into your different Google Docs, Google Drive. You may have noticed on my screen there that I have Teams up in the corner there, so I can do those things as well. I'm going to use my Android navigation here to tap and return to Prodigy. I saw a question come through. I think it was about power. One of the big changes that we made, as Justine mentioned, was the switch from the old pin style connector, 3.5 millimeters, to a USB-C charging. Let me see if I can grab my cable here really quickly. It will reach all the way over here. I'll hold that up in front here. So now we have USB-C style. And the nice thing about that is it can go in either way, but even nicer than that in comparison to the old pin. Probably the #1 failure point and the #1 reason for returns of Matt Connect devices was that students would move their device while the cord was plugged in with that pin and break it off. Your USB-C, as I'm holding up here now, is not going to break off when it's plugged into the tablet. So that was a big change there. Can you verify, Jim, that that was the question that came through, or is there something else related to power?
Yep, I will do in a moment.
Okay. So again, just by way of providing a quick overview of this before I jump into what's new with the dictionary application, the Mac Connect is a low vision device, and I am in Prodigy right now. We are using the carousel mode. Has very large icons with large bold text. I can scroll to the right over here and go into settings. And there are multiple user interfaces once I tap on that I can use. So carousel is considered to be advanced, but there's also a standard and a basic that you can explore on your own. And we do have videos that highlight all of these. We should note that almost everything that I'm going to cover here that's not about the new dictionary is covered in other videos that my colleague Eric and Justine have done in the past, and those should be available in the archives as well to look at for further orientation. So I'm going to scroll back to the right here and just quickly demonstrate the magnifier. I'm going to turn that on, and here you can see that the page underneath has come on. There's those lights. Hopefully you can see them flashing around my 12-inch tablet here with a toolbar across the bottom of the interface. And one of the really powerful things about this is you can use it as a simple magnification device, but one of those fixes that we made is if you raise the tablet up into a right angle or parallel to the surface beneath, and I will back out here to a full page view and adjust my document underneath there, and I can press and hold, and we will capture the page that's underneath of there. I might have moved my tablet too soon there, so I may have distorted my results here, but we'll see when it comes up in just a moment. But we will go ahead and capture it, do the optical character recognition and the text, and then you'll be able to apply text to speech to a document. So let's zoom in on this using a gesture here. Did pretty well there. Except for up at the very top when I moved my tablet too fast after the capture, but I can tap the read button. So we'll just pause there and back up. So again, that was caused by my moving of the tablet tray before the capture was completed, but we've captured it. We've converted it into what is called diamond edge text. So that allows me to enlarge to very, very large text sizes. So you can see the word conditions here. And if I could zoom to infinity all the way down to the edge of any of the letters there, you would find that they are just as crisp and clear as you would want them to be. Of course, to the right of my toolbar at the bottom of the screen are zoom in and zoom out buttons that I can use to move incrementally. So I'll just tap those a couple of times. Continuing from right to left, there's the read button that I used a moment ago that will read aloud with text to speech. We have the ability to perform markup. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit here on my document. I'll tap on that markup tool. My toolbar will change slightly. The third button in from the left is the tool that I'm using. So right now, by default, it is a pen. I can tap that and go to a highlighter, or I can go to a text tool and tap once more to come back to a pen. I can choose the different colors. So let's switch to a red. So I just switched to red, and now I will take my pen and write on the screen with that. If I don't like what I did, I have an erase tool right to the right of that I can tap onto and erase out the text that's been placed on the screen there. And sometimes you have to scrub it a little bit to get it to go away. But it will become a permanent fixture if you don't erase it there. So we can do markup. We can save it. I'll tap that. It's going to save it. I'll show you where in just a moment. And then there's a gear wheel that's second from the left that I can tap on that allows me to adjust settings. So I can adjust the brightness of my screen here. It's at 50% right now. I can change my font style and my contrast from Diamond Edge to other contrasts. I can change to a, say, white on black contrast if I'd like. So we'll just back out again to adjust for my different visual needs. And then there's a variety of other settings that we can adjust down through here from reading mode. Right now it's reading in column mode. I could switch it to page and then it would look like it does as it's captured. And I can even go into a line reading mode. So lots of different settings to adjust to meet a user's needs in terms of capturing and reading documents alive back. So again, that's something to explore. We have videos that cover that in depth as well. So other tools, there's the APH toolbox that Justine mentioned in her section there that has access to all of the different apps that APH provides. There's a notes application here, and I'm going to come back to that one because I'm going to use it as part of my demonstration of the new tool today so you can see how that works. We'll continue over. There is a books application that I want to highlight for you. I'll tap on that, and here you can see it opens up into an interface with my books, my subscriptions, managed libraries, and at the bottom here, you can see I have Bookshare as one of my book providers. And basically, I'll go into managed libraries first and look at the book providers by tapping on that. And here you can see Bookshare is checked off, but we have multiple others that you can choose. And we are a global company, so you'll see global library availability there. So there's Project Gutenberg is a big one, so I'll turn that one on. Back out here, now I can search Project Gutenberg as well. But Bookshare is the big one that I wanted to highlight for especially our North American viewers here. And that is what I'll demonstrate in my books here. So once you activate a library, you can tap onto it, and it will allow you to go to that site without having to put in your credential. You put them in one time, and then you can go off and search those sites. So I'll tap there, and I'll use the one that I used earlier today. We'll type in using our virtual keyboard. So that was one of our fixes. It comes up all the time now, where the red fern grows. And in the upper right, my virtual keyboard's here. In the upper right is a little airplane icon. I'll tap that on my screen, and we will go off and search Bookshare to see what they have in terms of where the red fern grows. So I can tap on any of these, and it will bring up a synopsis of what that is. Notice it's applied those contrasts that I set earlier for my visual needs when I open documents. So white text on a black background. So I'm seeing a synopsis of the book to determine if it's the one that I want that I can read through. There's text to speech down here, zoom in and zoom out. And then if I come in third button from the left, there's a download button that I'll tap on, and we will download this book to our device, and it happens very quickly. And then we can continue searching. In the upper left corner, I'll tap my back button to return, and I can see my reading list, my history, and latest. There's a lot to explore there as well, but let's continue back here and just go back to what most students would use, which is my books, and that's where anything that's downloaded has been stored. So when I tap there, you can see that I have a number of books installed on my tablet already or downloaded in my tablet. Now, in this case, all of these are directly from bookshare.org. And the reason I'm highlighting them is they just recently announced that they're approaching 1.25 million pieces of e-content. So I showed you a few minutes ago that I could capture something that's in print that's not available, but a lot of what we need to have for education is available for download, and most of our student users qualify for that service. So I recommend investigating it because it saves time in instructional time to get that content and have it ready to go in a very crisp, clean, ready to use environment. So here is where the red fern grows. You'll notice that it's opened up right where I left off the last time that I read it, and I can zoom in on that as well. I can tap my arrows to the right of my toolbar at the bottom to zoom in and zoom out. And to the far right of the toolbar at the bottom, we even have page navigation tools. So we can use the table of contents and navigate. So let's say specifically we needed to go to chapter 6, we can tap there and we'll immediately navigate a student to chapter 6 or a user to chapter 6. Again, zoom out, coming from the right to the left across the bottom, there's a zoom in and a zoom out button, but there's also the read button that I can tap onto. So I'll pause that reading so we can read it aloud back to the user. So again, that saves a huge amount of instructional time having content readily available for students to or users to work with from Bookshare or other online sources. So I wanted to highlight that for everyone. I'm going to back up using the back button in the upper left corner and back out of my books application and continue to the left. Here's our dictionary application that I'm going to spend time on in just a moment, but I just quickly wanted to highlight the calculator tool for those that aren't familiar, and then I'll be done with sort of the overview of the Matt Connect here. So we have a dictionary application that we've developed in partnership with Desmos. It's accessible. And right now, mine is in a graphing mode. So in the upper left corner, there's a back button that will allow me to back out of it to my carousel again. And beneath that is a set of gears that I will tap on right now. And this will allow me to adjust different settings in my calculator. And the one that I really wanted to highlight today was the mode. There are 3 different accessible calculators in the Matt Connect. There's a standard calculator, a scientific calculator, and a graphing calculator. We also have pretty detailed videos on the use of the Desmos calculators in the Matt Connect that you can explore in the archives. But one of the cool things about the graphing one is that a student can even use that to generate graphs on the screen and save those into assignments they may be completing. So just highlighting again that those are available for users directly within the Matt interface. So I'm going to pause and then I'm going to jump into the new dictionary tool. Sully, are there any questions that I need to answer before I do so?
So the question that popped in about the charging was whether or not the new USB-C cable would make the charging process more stable, and I responded to that with a yes. So let me just double check. I don't think we've had any new questions pop in. No other questions pop in.
Okay, with that having been done, I'm going to jump into the dictionary. I'll probably use the next 18 minutes, so hopefully I'll try to cut me off so that you can finish out the PowerPoint, because I could probably go for a little bit on this, but we're going to jump into this new dictionary feature that's on the Matt Connect now. So it installs directly into your carousel. Again, I will highlight very quickly by scrolling back to the right over here. In my settings, I have the ability to hide or not show that if I want to. And that's when I go into settings, into applications, and tap on show. Books, calculator, and dictionary, you've seen all of them in the carousel already. You have the ability to tap on one of those. On the right-hand end of the screen, the check mark will go away and it will no longer be shown in your interface. So I just turned the calculator off, but left books and dictionary on. And in the upper left, I'll tap my back button to return out to my carousel, and I'll scroll over here. And I see that now I stop at the dictionary, the calculator is no longer showing. I can do the same thing with my dictionary tool if I find that the interface is too much for my students. So with that said, let's tap on this dictionary tool and open it up. One thing I wanted to highlight as I begin to demonstrate this, this dictionary is the very first time you open it, it does need to build a database, so it can take 15 to 20 seconds. So I'm just putting it out there. Be patient the first time you open the application up, let it build its database, and after that, it will open just as fast as what you just saw me show right there. So let me orientate you to the interface of the dictionary. First of all, across the top, the header bar, if you will, in the upper left corner is that back button that would return me to the carousel right now. Of course, the title of the app is Dictionary. And then in the upper right corner of the screen is a interface adjustment. I'll just tap that once. And now we've gone to an extra large font. I'll tap again. We go to a small font. I'll tap once more and it will cycle back to our default font. I'm going to tap one more time and just leave it in extra large for today. Then just immediately beneath the header bar is a search for a word box that I'll come back to in just a moment. I'm going to scroll down. Underneath of that is a word of the day. So this is a really nice feature that will allow the user to expand their vocabulary a little bit at a time. Each time that each 24 hours or so, it's going to recycle a new word into here for them to read through the definition and hopefully learn some new words to add to their vocabulary. This question did come up from some of our testers, so I'll just address it right now, and that is, are there any objectionable words on there? Now, we did go through and scrub the database for anything that would hopefully be may be perceived as objectionable to someone. So it should be good to go in terms of being user-friendly for all age groups. Beneath that, we have word lists, and beneath that, we have recents. And I'll double back on each of those in just a few moments. And then across the bottom, of course, you can see this is HumanWare. We developed this with Accessibyte, and it's powered by Oxford Languages. So without further ado, let's tap in that search for a word box, and you'll see that the interface has changed a little bit. My virtual keyboard has come up from the bottom, and in the header, I still have my back button, so I can go back to the main dictionary screen, but it says search because that's what we're doing now. And in the upper right corner, the icon is changed to a language tool. So I'll tap that. And you can see that we have 4 languages that you can look up words in. Now, this is only, you look up the words in these languages and it provides the dictionary definitions back in those languages. So I recommend playing with it and then employing it for those students that may be dual language speakers if you need to. But again, if I switch to French, it's going to look up bonjour, and then it's going to provide me the definition of bonjour in French. We'll leave it on English for today's demonstration. And in the upper left corner, I'm going to back out to my search window. And my keyboard is turned on down here. So let's type in ACCESS. And so I have access typed in. You'll see my word prediction is working for me down here. So I'm just going to go ahead and search the word access by tapping at the end of the search box, search. And what we will bring up here is a list of suggestions from the dictionary that include the word access. So maybe I was actually looking for accessibility. So I can scroll down. I didn't have to type the whole word, save myself some time using that word prediction. I'll tap on accessibility. We will go and look up the dictionary definition. So now we can read through. I see that it's a noun, the quality of being able to be reached or entered, as well as examples of how it might be used in a sentence. I can scroll down. So there's a second definition and a third definition, a fourth definition. And then as mentioned previously, accessibility does have some synonyms and antonyms that could be used with it. So again, a pretty good definition with a lot of depth to it for the user to explore. So the interface changed when I got to the definition page. Header at the top says definition now. My back button is still in the upper left, but there are 2 options in the upper right corner. So in the far right top corner is a magnifying glass that I could tap on to continue searching for another word, so I can get right back to a search. Or there's a bookmark tool that will allow me to save this. I'm going to tap that bookmark tool first. So here you can see I have 2 lists that I've already created. Roger Steinberg, a personal list, and one to go with The Giver, a book that I've downloaded and I'm reading from Bookshare. I can create a new word list by tapping on create a new list down here, or I can cancel. So I'll just tap on create a new list. It will ask me to type in a new list and save it, but I'm just going to cancel out of that and return to my definition because I want to save it by tapping my bookmark tool again to my personal word list, Roger Steinberg. At the bottom of the screen, you will see a message that pops up from the system that says that it has been saved successfully. So at this point, again, I can tap on that magnifying glass in the upper right and continue searching words. So maybe I wanted to look up something else related to access or even get accessible. So I have the the other form that I might be looking for. So again, my word prediction comes up and I'm going to take advantage of that. And I can scroll down and I can also look up the word accessible. And I can see that adjectives is what that is and the synonyms and antonyms to go with that. So that's the basics of how to look up a word. In the upper left, I'm going to tap my back button here and I'm going to back up to my main dictionary screen now. And scroll down. So again, I'll scroll from the search for a word box at the top to my word list and tap on that. So imagine that I had just come back to my dictionary from doing something else. I can quickly come in and go to my Roger Steinberg word list, and I can look up any word that I've previously looked up and saved to my Roger Steinberg list. In this interface, there's a back button to return back to the main dictionary screen, but in the upper right is also a trash can icon that would allow me to delete this list in its entirety. I don't want to do that today because I'm going to maintain this list for future demonstrations, but I'll tap on freedom here. The interface will change to allow me, because it's already saved, I can do two things on the upper right now. One is to tap and look up another word, or I can delete this specific word using the trash can in the upper right corner from this word list. I'm going to use the back button in the upper left to back up to my word list, and then back all the way back out to my main dictionary screen again. Last but not least is the recents at the bottom of the main screen. I'll tap there, and you will be able to see the words that I've looked up recently. So there's a longer list there, so you can see that other words have been looked up. So this allows me quick access to something that I may not have saved to a word list, but want to go ahead and look up again so I don't have to type it in to go find it. Tap the back button in the upper left corner here to get back to the main screen of the dictionary. And that is an overview of the dictionary tool and its core functionalities inside the Prodigy software. I'm going to pause for just a moment and take any questions that might exist.
So we've had one, Roger, that's come in about access to the dictionary for a student who was blind. Is that something that you can elaborate on? Is that a question that you've been asked?
Relative to the Matt Connect, I have not been asked this. It's the first time. I do know that my counterpart, Andrew Flatris, is working on integrating dictionary into some of his Braille devices right now. And so I don't want to poison the jury, as they say. But one thing that I didn't show here was text-to-speech reading back the material that's here. So as I noted earlier, Justine immediately looked at it and things came up. In fact, I think we discussed that very early on. That is something that we will be looking at adding relatively rapidly. But again, as this is the first release of the dictionary, we wanted to get out the core functionality in time for back to school. And I actually met with our R&D team this morning, and we're already busy planning for our next sprint release, sprint updates and releases to continue to enhance this tool. So I wouldn't write it off, but right now, I don't think it's 100% accessible to a blind user.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, that's a future iteration that we're looking at, adding text to speech. But another way you could do that possibly until that comes out is the copy and paste that Roger, you can show them how you can copy that text into notes and then have it read it that way.
Yeah. I did want to demonstrate one more thing, unless there's a question in the box, Jim, that I need to answer right now.
I don't see another one in there.
Okay, great. I'm going to run out of time. I knew I would, but let me hit this back button and come back to my carousel. I'm going to show taking it to one more level here, and I'll show it being used with a book right now. So I'm back in Prodigy. I've scrolled to the right into my settings, and I'm going to scroll down in settings again to my applications, and I'm going to turn on a feature called Rapid Toggle right now. It's a gesture that we're going to be able to use, and when I use Rapid Toggle, I can search for applications or I can select them. I'm going to tap on select applications because I find working with a list easier, and I want to work with books right now, and I want to work with my dictionary. And maybe we will show that notes very quickly, as Justine just said as well. So what this is going to do is allow me to use a gesture called Rapid Toggle, where I place my fingers to the side of the screen, the left side, and slide slowly or at a reasonable pace, and it will immediately open up the applications that I've turned on. And the applications that I have turned on right now are books and dictionary, and Prodigy is always the third application. So I've just opened up my book to where I left off. Let's say that we're reading along here, and we came to the word impatiently, and we wanted to look that up. I'll use my two-finger gesture here, swipe. I can go to my dictionary. I'll tap there and start to type in impatiently. Impatient came up. Let's tap on that to expedite things because we're running out of time. And there's impatiently in my suggested list. We'll get that. And what Justine was suggesting is now that I have the definition here, I can copy and paste any of these definitions here. So let's say that there is a light gray line around there. Again, something that we might look to work on in the future is make it a little bit more bold. But let's say in a restlessly eager manner is the definition we want. I can press and hold on it and a message will pop up, text is copied. So that text is now copied to my clipboard. I'll use my rapid toggle gesture again here. And now I'm back in Prodigy because that's always going to be my third application. And I wanted to get to my notes over here. So I'm going to tap on my notes application and I already have a Giver vocab and that's the book that I'm reading. So you could create a new note as Justine said, but I already have one going. So I'm going to tap on my Giver vocab and you can see that I have this vocabulary already inserted in here and it is in print. So I'm going to switch from a pen to a text tool and press and hold in there. And all of the text that I've already have is right there, but I'm going to tap in here and you can see in my virtual keyboard, there's the text that I want to paste in here. Just so I remember what the word is, I'm going to go ahead and add that word impatiently. And my teacher has taught me to go ahead and use that 1, 2, 3 over there so I can put a dash so that I have some nice spacing between the word. And now I have the word and I can tap here and get my definition into my vocab study guide. Teachers taught me to hit this return key so that I'm ready to enter another word next time. I tap the airplane in the upper right corner and now it is added into my study guide. Which I can back out of all the way and I can actually read it from right within there as well if I need to and so forth. So you can copy and paste other applications to make it available. And in this case, if I wanted to send this vocabulary, I just press and hold and I can even, I won't do it right now, I could share it through Gmail to my teacher so they could see I did my vocab homework. Realize I went through those last steps pretty fast. But we did create videos for both showing that rapid toggle feature, just using the dictionary and books, and a second video, or actually it would be a third video, is showing what I just showed there, using the dictionary with books and notes. So in total, when the release goes live, there will be 3 videos available to you that will cover much of what was in today's webinar. One of them will be an overview of the functionality of the dictionary. The second one will be books, dictionary, and rapid toggle. And the third will be books, dictionary, and notes so that you can really take it to that level for students educationally. So we're super excited about this. We hope that it's very useful in the classroom to enhance students' vocabulary and deepen their comprehension of reading material that they're encountering, be it subject area material or different literature. But I'm going to just pause here and take any questions, allow Jim and Justine to finish out the slides.
Yeah.
I just want to mention that the user guide has been updated. And we have a skills performance checklist that has been updated with this new information. And all of these are in the product page of the APH website. In the manuals and download section, you can find the user guide, the skills checklist, which lists out all the features of the Matt Connect. And it's like a skill building sheet that you can use with your students and go through how to use all of the functions of the Matt Connect. And we added the dictionary tool function to that. It's kind of a living document. Anytime there's updates, we update the documentation. And all of the videos, tutorial videos will be listed there as well, that Roger mentioned, the 3 videos to show all of this demonstration. All of that is on the website and you can easily access and download it and get to it quickly with all of this new information. So I just wanted to let everyone know that information will be updated soon on the website.
All right, very good. We'll just kind of bring this to a conclusion. I did have a question in the chat about closing code. There is no opening and closing code, as this is a partner showcase and well as a part of the Access Academy. We do not offer it for continuing education credits. It gives us some flexibility in terms of what we do and how we go about sharing the information. And would encourage you to check the ongoing announcements about future webinars. There are lots of opportunities for continuing education credits down the road. So as we close up, the last poll question, which I shared with you, was true or false, the new features in the Prodigy software of the Matt Connect will enable students to create vocabulary lists. That is very much true. And we are in the final month of our quota season. So for those of you who are interested in the Matt Connect, the version 2.1 quota price is $37.95. And if you are interested in replacing the tablet, the quota price is $13.95. And we do sell the Matt Connect for non-quota for cash. It's a little more expensive for a few reasons, but we want to say thank you to Roger and to Justine for joining us today. We apologize for any of those captioning issues that we had. Amy popped in and explained to me that it is something that is inherent to Zoom. So I was thanking the good Lord that it wasn't my fault, because usually it is my fault. So look for more partner showcase to come a little bit later on this year, and have a great start to the school year, because I guess everybody's starting school now. So
Fantastic. Thanks, Sully. Everybody send feedback. We want to continue to get better. Appreciate it.
thanks for the heads up on the sharing of my screen too. I was trying
No worries.
to send
Trying to
Amy a
multitask,
note.
I understand.
Exactly. So, all right, Justine, we'll see you next week in Louisville. I'll be down, so hopefully I'll see you while I'm in the office. All right.
All right,
All right.
sounds great.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Thank
bye, guys.
you. Bye.